From friends to lovers,
to kisses and cuddles,
we are doing it
God's way.
This is Stronger Together, Closer to God.
Brothers, let me ask you something. If someone asks you, do you love your wife? Most of us would not hesitate to say, of course, I love my wife. I go to work, I provide, I pay the bills, I take care of my responsibilities. I make sure my family has what they need. And those things matter. But let me change the question. If I ask your wife or your potential mate how she experienced your love, what will she say? Because Ephesians chapter 5, verse 25 says in the New King James Version, husbands, love your wives just as Christ also loved the church and gave himself for her. Notice Paul doesn't just tell us to love our wives. He also gives us the standard, Jesus Christ. And look at what Christ did. He gave himself. That's where I want us men to sit for a minute, because we can become very good at giving our wives what our hands can provide while struggling to give them what's happening in our heart. Brothers, Christlike love doesn't just provide something for your wife or your potential mate. It gives your wife or your potential mate you, your time, your attention, your affection, your presence, your encouragement, and yes, sometimes your vulnerability. For some of us men, that's hard. We were taught to work, provide, protect, keep moving, but depending on how you were raised, nobody may have taught you how to say, I'm hurting, I'm afraid, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do. Sometimes our answer is simply, I don't know. And sometimes I don't know doesn't mean I don't want to talk to you. It really means I don't know how to put what's happening inside me into words. See, brothers, that's something we can learn, because culture may have taught us to protect ourselves, but Jesus Christ teaches us how to give ourselves. Paul continues in Ephesians 5 and tells husbands to love their wives as their own bodies. Then he says in verse 29 in the New King James Version, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as the Lord does the church. See, think about a seed for a second. You don't make the seed grow. See, God handles growth. But you can help an environment where growth can happen. So husbands, potential mates, ask yourself, am I creating an environment where what God placed inside my wife or my potential mate have room to grow? Do I encourage her? Do I listen? Do I support her? Do I make room for her and her talents? When she comes to me with something God has placed on her heart, am I helping her discern it and support her? Or am I threatened when her growth requires something from me? Because sometimes sacrificial love costs you something. Maybe her opportunity means you adjust your schedule. Maybe you give up some time. Maybe something she needs requires money you wanted to use somewhere else. Maybe supporting her requires you to change your plans. See, sacrificial love doesn't only ask, what will this give me? It asks, how would this affect us? Then Paul says, cherish. Brothers, don't only ask, do I love my wife? Ask, does my wife experience my love? You can give her the house, the car, the vacations, the dinners. Everybody outside can look at your marriage and say, girl, you got everything. But what happens when the door closes? Does she experience your affection, your compassion, your tenderness, your attention? Can she come talk to you? Sometimes you're working. Sometimes you're watching the game. Sometimes you're in the garage working on the car. I fully understand. Sometimes us as men need our space to get away from everything. Then your wife comes in. Can I talk to you? Sometimes the loving response is, just give me 5 minutes to finish this, and then you have my undivided attention. And brothers, don't forget to come back in 5 minutes. Other times you may need to stop right there, because what feels like an interruption to you may actually be an invitation to connect to her. And here's the question I found helpful. Do you need my ears right now, or do you want my thoughts? In fact, she don't really need you to fix anything. She just needs you. See, in Colossians chapter 3, verse 19, it says, husbands, love your wives and do not be bitter towards them. We have to check what's happening inside of us. Sometimes your wife touches a wound she didn't create. Something may have happened with your father, your mother, a past relationship. Somebody rejected you, maybe even betrayed you. And now something happens in your marriage that touches that old wound. Brothers, don't make your wife or your potential mate continually pay a debt created by somebody who hurt you before she arrived. Take it over to God. And sometimes you need somebody to walk with you. Talk to your pastor. Get around mature Christian men. Find accountability. Get counseling. Talk with a qualified therapist when you need to. Sometimes sacrificially loving your wife or your potential mate means getting help from something she didn't break. And eventually you may need to tell her, baby, I'm realizing of how I've been responding to you isn't just about you at all. There's something inside me I need to deal with. That's not weakness. That's responsibility. In John 13, Jesus gets down and washes his disciples' feet. I'm talking about all the disciples' feet. And then he tells them in John 13, verse 15 from the New King James Version, "For I have given you an example that you should do as I have done to you." Brothers, please pick up the towel. Your wife says she's overwhelmed. Don't immediately hear criticism. Ask, how can I take this off your plate? Maybe it's the dishes. Maybe it's the kids. Maybe it's an errand. Maybe she just needs you to sit down and listen. And don't keep receipts. Don't do the following. Well, I washed the dishes, so now you need to. No. Please don't do that. We're not serving our wives to create a debt that they owe us. We're serving because Christ taught us how to serve. You might say, I'll die for my wife. Okay, but will you serve her today? Because sacrificial love isn't only demonstrated through the big thing you're willing to do someday. It's practiced through the little things you're willing to give today. And if you're dating, courting, engaged, or praying for a marriage, hear me. Don't wait until you're married to start becoming this man. Don't spend all your time looking for a wife. Let Jesus Christ prepare the husband she's eventually going to receive. A wedding can give you a wife. It doesn't automatically give you the character necessarily to love her like Christ. Let Christ develop the character now. This week, I'm going to challenge you, brothers. I'm going to challenge you to do 3 things. Give, serve, and check. Give. Give your wife some undivided attention. Ask how she's doing and listen. Serve. Find something she's carrying and take it off her plate without keeping the receipt. Check. Get before God and ask, Father, what am I carrying that's affecting how I love my wife? And when he shows you something, don't run from it. Deal with it. Because our goal isn't perfection. Our standard is still those words Paul gave us. Just ask Christ. So our prayer becomes, Lord, teach me how to love my wife more like you. See, brothers, remember this. Christlike love doesn't just provide something for your wife or your potential mate. It gives your wife and potential mate you, the full you. And the question I want to leave you is this. If your wife or your potential mate described your love based only on what she experiences from you, not what you know you feel, would her description look increasingly like Christ? That's the challenge. Give, serve, check, and let Christ keep teaching us how to love.
And before we go, thank you for allowing us into your hearts and homes today. If this podcast is helping you grow spiritually or emotionally or relationally, would you help us reach others by subscribing, sharing, and partnering with us? Your support allows us to continue creating messages that inspire healing, restoration, and stronger relationships through God's truth. Feel free to check out our show notes as we have included a special link where you can get connected with the rest of the family 52 Weekly Prayer Challenge. We appreciate every listener, every prayer, and every act of kindness. Remember, God never intended for us to stand or walk alone. I hope and pray you have a blessed day. Peace and blessings to all of you, and stay stronger together and closer to God.